welcome po sa programa ng Cariana Lay Monastic Community with Father Udon de Castro. Ang Cariana Lay Monastic Community can be likened to a small paradise of God. Sister Tachi?
Our Father will continue.
So we shall continue discussing the dubia. The dubia is the Latin word for the word doubts. It was a letter which was presented by a group of cardinals, bishops, and so on. Later on, it was added by the academes, meaning to say these are the professors in theology, and laymen, theologians, and so on, and more priests, and so on, in which they're asking a formal answer from the Pope whether his statement is what he meant it to be. Because he uttered a statement and the cardinals want to clarify what he really meant by the statement. And we mentioned the statement that husbands, for instance, who leave their wives who are still alive and remarries, therefore is in a state of adultery, he says can receive Holy Communion worthily. Of course, that statement is correct. If you say, as long as they have gotten annulment of previous marriage, then that's correct. You can remarry and receive Holy Communion. That is also correct if you say they have no annulment, but they're only living as brothers and sisters, not as husband and wife.
No marriage ceremony.
No, nothing at all. No relationship. That's correct also. So the bishops and the cardinals who wrote Pope Francis wants to hear that statement, those conditions. However, the way the statement sounds, he did not say, and they had no annulment, or they're just living as brothers and sisters. The statement is very clear. A remarried Catholic, meaning to say he left his wife, remarried another woman, and then is in the state of adultery, therefore in the state of mortal sin, can worthily receive Holy Communion. And there is something wrong about that.
Yes, Father.
That's why the cardinals and the bishops send him a letter and say, clarify it, because if you mean the way we hear it, it's not Catholic teaching.
Did the Pope clarify that particular statement?
No, up to now, more than 500 days already, he has not clarified it.
That I don't understand, Father, why did the Pope did not clarify such confusing statement.
That's a big mortal sin because the people are confused and it's a wrong teaching and people are getting it wrong. So it's a very serious sin on the part of the Pope because his role as Pope is to clarify precisely and confirm the faith of the Catholics.
Yes, Father.
And so the point is, to make matters worse, today he is being told already that there is something wrong with his teaching. And therefore, if there is something wrong in his teaching, the possibility is great that he cannot become Pope. In other words, if he has a heresy, then he's not even a Catholic. So the reasoning is, if you have done something in which now you are not a Catholic, you cannot become Pope. That's the rule of the Catholic Church.
Paano siya mawawala bilang Pope?
He has to resign.
Supposing he doesn't resign
He has to be fired
by the
by the group of cardinals and bishops.
impeachment, sort of.
Sort of impeachment. Sort of impeachment.
Okay.
So he has to be impeached. He has to give up his office. But all we have to prove is that he's not a Catholic.
Yeah.
Because in the Catholic Church, we have no proof whether a person is a pope or not. But it's automatic if we can prove he's not a Catholic, necessarily he cannot become a pope. Because a pope has to be a Catholic.
Yes.
Like in your marriage, for you to have a Catholic marriage, you have to be a Catholic, you have to prove you're a Catholic. To be a priest, you have to be a Catholic. To be a pope, you have to be a Catholic. But he is holding now a doctrine which is not Catholic. That's why there is a dubia. Because if his doctrine is not a Catholic, he is not a Catholic. In spirit, he's not a Catholic. And therefore, he has to resign his papacy.
He cannot be head of the Catholic Church.
He
if
cannot
you're
be
not
head of
Catholic.
the Catholic Church. Yeah, that's true.
Kung walang reaction from the Pope regarding the dubia, the letter, what is the next move of the cardinals?
They have to proclaim him.
Impeach him or
Sort
something?
of. They have to proclaim that he's not a Catholic. He's holding a heretical doctrine and therefore has to resign because he does not qualify to the papacy. So many people are embracing the side that he has to answer the dubia.
That's clear.
If he doesn't answer the dubia, it is clearly in the statement of Pope Francis that he's holding a teaching which is against the teaching of the Catholic Church.
That's quite dangerous. That is maybe one of the reasons why some Catholics leave our Catholic faith and join another group. Could be.
Well, it will cause now a schism. A schism because those who believe that his statement is wrong will not follow him.
Oh, yes.
But those who believe and like what he's
Yes,
teaching
yeah.
will follow him.
Yes.
So the Catholic Church really have a schism. But like before, to justify his statement, he abolished hell.
Yes.
Now whenever he hears somebody is doubting his Catholicity and therefore his papacy, he has them punished. So the Vatican has a instruction, standing instruction, that anybody who criticizes the Pope on this matter, if he's a bishop or cardinal, he must be demoted. If he's a bishop, he must be fired from his diocese. If he's a priest, he must be suspended. So he must be punished, and that's a standing order in the Vatican, and everybody knows it.
Just like a dictator attitude.
That's why there is the recent book describing Pope Francis, and it is selling like hot cakes in the world, entitled Francis the Dictator.
My God. Of course.
And so everybody now, the bishops, the cardinals, and the priests are all afraid to speak.
I see. Okay.
Oh,
So, Father,
why would they be afraid to speak what is the truth?
Well, because most of our Catholics now are weak of faith.
They don't have the courage.
They do not have the courage, yeah. Because courage comes with faith, and they do not have the courage, so they speak. And the few who speak out gets into trouble. If a cardinal speaks out, he's demoted, like Cardinal Burke. Unjustly demoted, for no reason whatsoever.
Without any good reason.
No good reason, no valid, no canonical reason, no good reason. Bishop Libieres and other good bishops who spoke up were not only demoted, but they were removed from the diocese. It was not yet retirement age. They were retired. The priests are suspended, like Waynandi, the American theologian, because he just criticized the Pope, and his criticism was not so bad. He was just saying that the Pope is not clear, which is really not clear, not only
That's all
unclear,
he
it's
said?
even, it was very harmless. And he was suspended.
okay, so
if Pope Benedict will, Pope Benedict, Pope Francis will hear you, Father, baka matanggal kayo sa pagkapare.
Oh, that's very sure.
Yeah, well,
That is very sure. What
doesn't,
only is taking time is that he cannot find me.
doesn't matter.
But it will really come.
That kind of thing will really come. He'll really try. But as you say, Father, if there are more and more, so it is not like it's everybody's on his side. That is, many people see it, and they're now, it's like, as you said before, polarization. In other words, we're now onto the opposite sides route.
Yeah.
And and everybody has to make a decision, whose side are you on?
Like in this program right now, what I'm actually doing is doubting the legitimacy of the papacy of Pope Francis. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite...
I'm putting doubts, no? But I didn't start it.
Yeah.
The one who did it were the cardinals and the bishops. The Dubia, it was not written by me. And there is a doubt presented before him. Not only that, even before the Dubia, during the Bishop Synod of 2015, the bishops were already saying that Pope Francis was dividing the Catholic Church because he was presenting a doctrine which is not Catholic. That's why it was rejected by the council, by the Synod. The Synod rejected this statement, which is now found in the Apostolic Exhortation Amoris Laetitia, about the remarried Catholics.
He wrote, it's in black and white now, huh, Father?
It was
Also.
already there
Okay.
before, rejected by the Synod Fathers, and yet repeated today. So you cannot blame me and say, I started it. I'm just repeating what many people are saying, of which I am convinced is correct. So in the Bishop's Synod, it was already said that this teaching is not Catholic. And not only that, if you remember Cardinal Arinze, the cardinal from Nigeria, who was a papabile, meaning to say, during the conclave, he was one of the candidates side by side with Pope Benedict,
Parang a favorite.
one of the favorites. Almost at the beginning of the papacy of Pope Francis, he already said, Pope Francis is guilty of the heresy of liberalism.
I'll try to.
Liberalism is when you allow everything. Liberalism. All kinds of sin is allowed. And Pope Francis allows all kinds of sins.
Yeah.
this is a very negative, Father, because I understand that the devil instigates such move. I know it's mabigat po, pero that's what I read from Summa Theologica of St. Aquinas. Anything that is destructive is being instigated by the enemy.
Well, of course, everything really comes from the devil. Yeah. And he uses humans
Yes.
to make his temptations really effective. So even Cardinal Arinze said that because Pope Francis is guilty of liberalism, which is a heresy, heresy condemned in an encyclical by Pope Gregory, entitled Mirari Vos, condemned, makes Pope Francis therefore a heretic, and he cannot be a pope. This is the statement of Cardinal Arinze from Nigeria. It was headlined in the Nigerian newspaper and in the newspapers in Africa.
Father, only 1 minute to go with your last observation or comment, please.
And so if I sound doubting the legitimacy of the papacy of Pope Francis today, which I'm doubting, my doubts are based on the behavior of cardinals and bishops and the majority of the bishops of the Bishop Synod, who themselves have cast their doubts on the Catholicity of Pope Francis, and as a consequence, the legitimacy of his papacy.
Thank you so much, Father. That will be the last statement of Father as of now. But next broadcast, Father will continue explaining the confusion we have now at the Catholic Church. Marami pong salamat sa inyong panonood dito sa Cariana Lay Monastic Community, which is likened to small paradise of God. Thank you so much.
Hosanna, Hosanna, in excelsis, Hosanna.